Cloud Age. This
No
game.
box to point to.
So.
Start over.
No. Cloud Age.
Oh.
It's floating over.
So this game is a travel game. Obviously, you're going throughout the player board, but you've got some card management. You got some resource management.
Grid movement.
You have some player board building. Like you got to build your ship. So there are a
lot of different bits.
Yeah, there are a lot of different bits, a lot of different tracks, a lot of different things that you're doing throughout the game. But the overarching theme is that basically you have a blimp and you're traveling across the land and you're trying to conquer cities to get resources and visit different locations to get resources, and you're trying to get the most victory points at the end of the game. So going into quality of pieces, you have your wooden cubes that are pretty much standard in a lot of games. You also have the blimp that is screen printed, right?
Nope, stickers.
It is a sticker.
You had to put a sticker on that?
I did.
Ah.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
And then also, you've got some more. The resources are either cardboard for the fives, and then wood pieces that are actually shaped like the resource. So, how was card quality for this, guys?
I think it's good. It's got texture.
It's got nice texture to it, yeah.
It's not super thick, but it's not thin either.
Look like they're standard Euro size.
Yeah, so they seem to be okay.
Cardboard of the boards are okay. They're nice and flat. They're not bowed or.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces in this game. What is the price point for this game, considering how many bits are in here?
$59.95.
I don't think that's bad for this game, really. If you look
and if you go to certain websites like Card House or Game Nerds or something, it's usually a little bit cheaper than MSRP.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think the price is off for this game.
It's not. You get a lot for your buck. So
Yeah.
even if you pay full price, you still get a lot.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's hey, there's 3 cards and I'm paying $50 for it. No, I think this is definitely all right. But give it a rating. What do you guys think?
I like it. I think with the amount that you get and decent quality, everything, I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I was thinking 7 too. I mean, the amount doesn't really affect the quality, in my opinion. But I mean, as far as the components themselves, I think they're probably worthy of a 7. Although, knowing that they're stickers, that kind of makes me want to go down a little bit more.
But I did the sticker.
I didn't have to do it. It's not going to affect me until I get my copy. Then my copy.
You're
so
not
my
getting a
copy. My copy would be a 6.5.
No, he's not getting a copy. We don't. All right. Going into theme, I know we got a blimp, and I know we're traveling across the wasteland, but I have no idea.
Thematically, the powers that be of the world used too much oil, blew the world up, basically. And so now you've got these blimps that are traveling across the land, trying to settle in the different cities, survive, and depending on where you're at in the game, there's even the ability to plant new growth. And so trying to revitalize
what's
the planet.
powering the blimps if they burned up all the oil?
Sunlight.
Oh, the
solar
panels.
Yeah.
So they've somehow managed to make solar panels more efficient to the point where they could power the blimp with them.
Right.
Okay, got it.
It is the future.
Yeah. So, theme-wise...
I mean, it looks like a desolate landscape.
It does.
So, I mean, I think thematically it fits with their storyline that they're going with. So, the cards fit, I think, pretty well. So, you got these different shaped cards that show you the different resources that you get. And it kind of looks, kind of futuristic look to it.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
If there's clouds everywhere and the blimp is flying through the clouds, wouldn't you be worried that the blimp is going to plummet to its destruction when it flies through too many clouds?
Why?
Because it's powered by the sun.
I would think it'd have batteries, Randy. It would store
I don't know if I want to
power.
be in an airship.
No, they're
flying
above.
through
No,
clouds.
they're above the clouds. That's why you can't see the resources until you go down.
Okay,
and
all
you
right.
got some batteries.
Why you gotta
I'm
poop on
just-
the game?
If she
You're
can trash,
you're pooping on the
if she
beat.
can trash the theme of Whistle Mountain,
That's
I still don't know what this amounts about, guys.
I think it's only fair to question how you're flying in a blimp with solar power.
You're above the clouds.
when it's a cloud-infested wasteland.
Listen. All right.
Doesn't matter.
Give it a
Okay.
score.
Give it a score.
Give it a score.
Thematically, I'm going to give it a 7.
Should I give it a 10 just because?
No.
I think a 7's fair. I'm just really questioning the powering of the blimps. It seems a little ludicrous, but okay.
We're talking about a board game. We're looking at realistic physics behind it. I mean,
What are you expecting?
All right.
I'll be nice and go with your guys' 7. Sure.
Oh, you wanted to do a 6?
No, I mean, I don't think it deserves a 6, but I'm not sure it deserves a 7 either.
6.5?
Maybe 6.75. I mean,
6.76.
Oh,
somewhere around there.
How many decimal positions are we allowed to go to?
I figure we're doing it in quarters, 6.5, 6.75. I mean,
We're doing it times the number of pi.
I get to do whatever I want as long as it's between 1 and 10. I mean, heck, we
I
have
gave
high
one an
10s.
11. I gave one an 11, so it's only fair.
All right. So now we're moving on to rules. I didn't read them. As
So
usual.
you want to take it?
As
Yeah,
per
I
usual.
can. So, like any game pretty much we played, the first time we played through it, we missed a lot. The second time we played through it, we understood some more rules. But I think the rule book is really, it's laid out very well. It's kind of in 2 sections, though, because it's set up, if you're familiar with Maracaibo, also an Alexander Pfister game, the first time you play through it, it recommends a certain setup, and then each subsequent play, you get additional things to come out. So it's not really a legacy game per se, more campaign driven, but it introduces new mechanics the longer that you play it. And so the rule book is laid out like that. So game 1, play it this way. Game 2, play it this way. Then each subsequent game, you add new pieces or new cards. But it's easy to understand that. It's laid out well with pictures, and the numbers match the sections that it's talking about, so you don't have to be too confused of where to look for what you're trying to do at that time, whether it's set up. And then your phases are clearly laid out and how it goes in order. So it's not like in some of our rule books where it says reference page 13 when you're on page 4 to try and figure something out. So it's all laid out in order. So I'd give the rule book a good 8. It's a good book.
I believe you. I trust your judgment.
And Randy looked at it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite definitely some typos in there. It's also loose when it's meant lose and things like that. But that's all
it's not that
minor, petty
much
stuff. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard to interpret. There was a few things that's just a little quirky about the game as far as some of the way the rules are written versus how it plays. But it's not horrible. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 6 or 7.
Okay. So moving on to gameplay, I actually really enjoyed it. You got your blimp, you're traveling through, you're trying to conquer cities, and you can also gather resources on your way. So you have that first phase of the game where you're moving. You trigger your resource generation, and then you go through the map, and then each person takes the turn on either gathering resources or building. And I actually like the different stages. I think that's actually really kind of cool in the fact that I guess the movement's pulled away from the actual action itself.
And I like that some of it's simultaneous where some of it is by player order too.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, and I think that kicks some of the downtime like this game would have if some of this wasn't in sync with everything else. Otherwise, this game would probably...
It would drag out a little bit longer if everything was turn order. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that the engine of placing your cubes whenever you conquer an area, if you will, is nice because it makes the game so it doesn't drag on.
Right.
I mean, this game ends about the time it should. Is in my opinion. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Part of me towards the end of the game wants like one more round, but then that's like just one more round. So I think that's really good. Just keeps you on your just a little bit where you just want just a tad bit more.
And one thing I really like about the game is that there's really not a whole lot of player interaction. So what someone does can kind of affect what you want to do, but not to any significant degree. So,
Yeah, but it does matter when you do the
well, right. That's what I'm saying. So
resource
there's
collection.
some player interaction.
And there's times where people are in your way when you're trying to move. You know,
but it's not brutal. And,
Yeah, no, it's
and
not
it's
brutal.
not game changing. So it might delay a turn or two where you could come back around and get to it. You just may not be able to do it that turn that you wanted to do it initially.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of the game.
And there's a little bit of engine building, which I like. And
Yeah.
there's not a lot. I mean, but the cards that you play and the upgrades you make are kind of going to potentially give you a little bit of bonus and perk towards the next card or
Right.
action. But they're not. It's not a huge engine building game, but it does have a little bit of that. So it adds, some of the things I enjoy in games into the mix. Plus, there's a lot of ways to score points.
Yeah.
So.
I think if I was to give it one criticism is this playthrough was our second playthrough, and we added the new growth mechanic, which is these little tokens you can put down that gives you additional victory points or resources, and some extra stuff based off of your action board that you have on the bottom down here. I don't think we would have had to wait. I think we could have introduced this in our first game and it would have been just fine. I don't think it added any more weight to the game. So I think that I kind of wish we would have learned it the first time we played it, not the second time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. The downside of having this
phase in
sort of a legacy system
Yeah.
that it's not really a legacy, but it's teaching you the game as you play kind of mechanism, because as you're playing through each one, it's like, okay, depending on your particular group's skill level,
Right.
it's sometimes the first few rounds just feel like they're really disappointing. And
I don't think this was the case with
this
this game.
one
Both
didn't feel
ones
that
I
bad.
enjoyed.
I mean, it's
both.
Charterstone, for example, was one where it really felt like the first few rounds were just
Right.
Yeah, but
really
then
easy.
But then midway through, you're ramping it up, and you're
Yeah.
like,
But this one, it didn't feel that bad.
yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Let's give it a score, guys.
I mean, overall, I enjoyed the game. Frustrating for me a couple times because I tried to do things and it didn't work out in my favor, but that was completely bad planning on my part. It didn't have anything to do with mechanics. It didn't have anything to do with other people. So I enjoyed it. I give it an 8.
Okay. I definitely think this is a point salad. It is something right up, alley. I like the little limited player action. Nothing too brutal. So I would also give this as an 8. This is something that if you're like, hey, let's play that, I'll be like, okay, no complaints here.
Yeah, I think this is an 8 level game. I was surprised you weren't going higher. So, yeah, I was thinking 8 all along, but I thought you were enjoying it a little more than we were. So I thought you were going to go 9.
No, there's something about it that doesn't advance it, and I don't know if it's the theme just isn't calling to me as much, but it's got a lot of things that I like. It's like you get to build up your own board to do the thing, but I'm not in love.
It's got purple.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's got purple, but I'm not in love with the theme, and
Sure.
maybe I just
find it's a little bit awkward. There's a little bit of quirkiness with the gameplay that it's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. That's why I don't go higher. I mean, I like everything about the mechanics of it. I just don't like the fact that some of the pieces don't fit well together. It just feels like there's something that's awkward about it.
Do you think as we go through more rounds and get more rules that maybe some of that
It
awkwardness
might
will
change. I mean,
alleviate?
I don't know what the future of the game is because we haven't only played it twice, and you're going to add more each round. It sounds like.
There's really only a few more tiles that we haven't introduced
Oh,
yet.
okay.
So there's one long tile that gets introduced to the board, but this is all the player boards now.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is later ones will flip over to the B side, where we only have one B side available now. These will get flipped over as we advance in the game. So I don't know how much that would change it. There's a couple more of these special tiles that we didn't really interact with, where there's a mechanic where if you place a cube but then you choose to remove it, you get some bonuses. We didn't really interact much with that. So maybe a few more will come out. Maybe we can play with that a little bit, and that might make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think for me, it's not the interesting level. I think I've got plenty interested. I've got plenty going on. It's just for some reason the theme isn't. Something's not clicking with.
Right,
Something's just
and
not.
I don't think that'll ever change because I think the plant growth is the only other real story mechanic that gets introduced, and nothing else changes. It's not like we're going to see a whole new board where the Earth becomes green again or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a
Yeah.
blast. This one was We had a lot of fun.
Highly recommend it. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's definitely highly recommend. Do we tell who made it and everything?
No, Alexander Pfister with Arno Steinwander designed the game. Capstone Games, I believe, was the publisher, if I remember right. Yep. The artist is Christian Opper, and then the MSRP again is $59.95.
And I call this probably a medium game.
I would too.
It's
not.
medium.
Yeah, it's not on the light medium side. I think it's right in the middle.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Learning it, I don't know. I can't see.
That's why I think it's straight in the middle. I don't think it's something someone dives into.
This is not aggro level by any means, and it's
no.
I don't think it's easy enough to be a basic game that you're going to be teaching starters or people even.
Yeah, there's some mechanics you want people to understand.
Yeah, so I think I gotta have the firm gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, they gotta have some.
Yeah.
They gotta have some feeling towards it.
And it's not a long game, but it's not. It's a medium length game too. So it took us an hour and a half, I think, maybe 2 hours to play.
And we already kind of knew how to play. So.
Yeah, we had some interruptions. Well, Caleb had. We had to teach him. So.
No, yeah, that's true.
But he picked it up super quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to hang out with us again. We love having you, so hope to see you again.
And
soon.
Unfortunately, you guys can't see Caleb's magic fingers, so you missed out. So.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.